everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 191 of the NintendoFuse Podcast. Wherefore art thou? Direct? Because, it's kind of missing, but we'll get to that in a bit. Before we jump into that, my name's Steve, and I am not alone. I am joined by Barry. Hey, Barry.
Hey, Steve. It's been a long time, and I'm happy to finally be back.
Yeah, we were just chatting before we started recording that it's been 6 weeks since you've been on the podcast. That's crazy because we
6 weeks.
Unfortunately had to skip our last one. Kind of just some life things got in the way of the last one, but then so Greg and I were alone last time, and you were unfortunately MIA, but then Greg's missing tonight. Well, at least for a little bit. He'll be joining us eventually. But it's just us from the beginning. So
yep.
Now it's time to say all the bad things about Greg while he's on.
No.
There's nothing bad to say about Greg.
Nothing bad about Greg.
No. But yeah, thanks so much for everybody that's joining us in the chat as we record this live on YouTube. If you are joining us, thanks so much for being there. But if you're listening to this after the fact or watching it after the fact and you've not joined us for a live show, please do so. We pretty much, except for some exceptions, we record every other Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time, but that'd be 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And we would love to have you jump in the chat, join us about all the different things we talk about throughout the night, and that'd be great. If you haven't subscribed to us, be sure you do that. Hit that bell to be alerted on YouTube every time we go live, every time we post a new video, all that stuff. And if you haven't joined us on social media and our Discord channel, be sure to do that. All those links are down in the show notes and the descriptions down there on YouTube. We would love to just continue this conversation between podcasts. With all that out of the way, let's jump in and catch up a little bit. Barry, I'm sure there's lots to catch up on over the last 6 weeks. So what have you been playing? What have you been doing? What's life been like over the last 6 weeks?
It's been busy. In terms of playing, I have a lot on my plate. Trying to think, the last podcast that I was still working on the Trails of Cold Steel series. I finished all 3 that are out in America. The 4th one isn't out yet, but that took me a while, and the 3rd one is coming, I believe, next month to the Switch. So I can give my thoughts later on about that, but I did play through those, and I did very much enjoy them. For the Switchmania Playcast, I did a couple games since then. I did. I'm working on Town of Light now, which is our latest game, but I went back and revisited ARMS. I went back and revisited Horizon Chase Turbo. I played Gigantic Army. I played Luminous Avenger IX, which is the 3rd Gunvolt game. And I'm also playing right now. I'm right about to start the last chapter of Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. So my Switch has had a lot of play. My PS4 has had a lot of play. I'm still playing Dragalia Lost. They just did the Monster Hunter collab, and now they're doing the Valentines. And still playing Final Fantasy XIV. As of today, the latest patch just dropped, so I've been playing that a lot today.
Does it run on the newest operating system or Mac operating system now? That's what I want to know, because when I installed Catalina, I realized I couldn't play Final Fantasy anymore.
That I don't know, because I'm a PC user.
Yeah.
I'm sure if it doesn't, they will get it up and running ASAP, because there are a lot of Mac users. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to alienate those players. But yeah, Square will do it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I hope so, because I'll talk about in just a second that I got some new controllers, and I was excited. It was like, oh, cool, I have a controller, I can play and everything. And then I realized, oh, it doesn't run on Catalina. Fantastic.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So there's a few games that I had that are older games that unfortunately don't run. They're not 64-bit, and I was kind of bummed on that. So.
It'll be patched. I mean, it's one thing with an older game that doesn't have support anymore to say, all right, it's dead. But I mean, like I said, a new patch literally just dropped today as of the recording. It is very much a supported game, so I can't see it very long. In fact, you can probably go to their site and go to the support and just message and just be like, Catalina support, if that hasn't already been done, but I'm sure it's been done already.
Yeah, yeah. Jakester, are you surprised that I'm a Mac user? I have like everything is Mac. Yeah, I switched over from PC. It's probably almost 15 years ago, and haven't really looked back. I enjoyed modding and making my own PCs when I was younger, but then as I got older, as we've talked about many times on here, just the lack of time and also the lack of money has kept me from diving deep into PC world. I would love to create my own, high quality gaming rig, but that's out of the question right now. So yes, I use a Mac because I can count on it. I know it's going to work. As Barry knows, with the PCs, who knows what's going to happen with this computer? So
yeah, my computer is still an anomaly. Actually, the other day, my wife wound up blowing a fuse, which shut off my computer. And when it started up, it had an update, and it was like 1 of 4. And I'm like, oh my god, what's this gonna do? So it eventually actually restarted itself, like during the update. And I'm like, it can't restart, but it restarted. I'm like, oh my god, is it fixed? Did this whole thing fix? But no, it froze again while still finishing the update. I have no idea. But that being said, if you put me on a Mac, you might as well not, because I'll have no idea what the heck I'm doing.
Nice.
But PC I've run my entire life,
Right.
So it's just a custom.
Yeah, I appreciate the whole Apple ecosystem as well. Like I'm fully in with the iPhones and iPads and everything too, and it just kind of like it all works
I have
together,
iPhone.
which is nice. But
I like my iPhone.
yeah, so hey, I think we have a Greg.
It seems to be.
There is a Greg present. Hey, Greg. You haven't really missed a whole lot. We're just getting into what we've been playing and things like that, and we kind of got sidetracked talking about computers because Jakester was surprised to hear that I was a Mac user. So speaking of Jakester, he's been playing Luigi's Mansion 3, Tales of Vesperia, Pokemon, and Fire Emblem. So that's cool. Greg, what have you been up to?
I've actually been playing Luigi's Mansion 3 pretty much exclusively for the last 3-4 weeks. I've been making a lot of real progress this time. No longer just like, oh, just played for half an hour and beat like a floor. No, it's like I've actually beaten like 9 floors now. So
wow, all right, man.
So I'm a good portion of the way through the game. I'm gonna be starting floor 9 next. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm absolutely loving it.
How do you like that cat?
Yeah, he was kind of mean. Took my elevator button.
I think he's like universally the most hated part of the game outside of the lack of inversion of controls.
I don't know. I thought the controls seemed fine. I really noticed like I didn't even think like it was really using motion controls, but when you're playing in handheld, I think it defaults to it. And I was wondering why I was always kind of like it felt like my aim was like drifting off, and then I realized like, hey, this is actually kind of intuitive. I can just like tilt the controller slightly and get like the perfect angles, and I've been working through it perfectly fine. So I do like how like the suction shot like will actually like target specific spots if it's supposed to be used, and like an auto like hit or something if it's in like the right area.
The Pro controller also like default has the motion controls on it. Like when playing docked, which those I had no problem with. It was the turning around.
Yeah.
Like it just,
Yeah,
I wanted to invert it.
Yeah, that's still like the biggest problem I've noticed. Like if you're already charging the strobe light thing, and then like the ghost suddenly is behind you, there's no way to actually like turn it around unless like take my left hand like and physically touch the right joystick to like do it. So I'm like holding holding down the whatever the E or whatever. So.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like, I mean, again, I've said this many times on the podcast, but it does, I mean, I'm not a developer at all, but I wouldn't think it'd be very difficult to add some like customized controls into a game, right?
It's not.
Like it shouldn't be that difficult.
And especially in this case, 2019, when it came out, like it should just be default at this point because everyone has their own preferred playstyle, and it doesn't cost anything to give players the choice.
Mm-hmm.
But if you hinder what they can do, it only limits who can actually enjoy it or the level of enjoyment.
Yeah. It's kind of surprising since Nintendo has, like on other games,
Yeah.
they have an abundance of control options, and this one is just like, nope, this is it. Period.
But yeah, some games let you choose what button does what. You can
Mhm.
completely customize the controls. I think every game should have that.
Yeah.
It just makes it, I don't know, more user friendly.
I also think it's a lot of common courtesy, though. It's just like, why can't they play it the way they want? I mean,
Yeah.
Sakurai is obviously no stranger to that. You can completely change Smash. Like, you can use like 4 different controllers.
Yeah.
It's like you
Right.
could.
Well, it's got to be probably a hindrance to even people with like special needs and things like that as well, that maybe don't have certain, that don't have the functionality of their hands or something like that, like some of us, and like maybe they actually need to change buttons around to play the game better, but they can't even have that luxury.
Yeah. It's a shame.
Anything else you've been playing?
I did do a few more Paw Patrol levels with Belle a little bit. She's been a little bit on an upkick on that, seeing me playing Luigi's Mansion. She's like, "Oh, you're playing the scary game again, Daddy," and I'm like, let's play Paw Patrol. And
Let's play something happy. Nice.
and I think I did very minimal time in Mario Maker, just so like she wanted to see a few more Mario levels. So like that was one day kind of thing. But that's pretty much it. Obviously, still doing dailies in Fire Emblem Heroes. That's pretty much the only game I'm playing. I kind of dropped off Dr. Mario now because it just, I don't know, very repetitive.
Yeah. I'm still playing Mario Kart, believe it or not.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Did you get any time with the multiplayer beta?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah. How was it?
Actually, it took a while to load in, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it was fun.
Cool.
It honestly felt like just racing against the CPU because there's no smack talking and it's all random in that sense. But no, it ran fine.
That's cool.
I hope they roll it out. Not that I'm going to play it a lot, but I'm sure a lot of people will absolutely be playing it.
Yeah.
The problem is that multiplayer Mario Kart, it's mainly about winning and coming in first, and Mario Kart Tour, it's more about points than necessarily. I mean, coming in first definitely helps get the highest amount of points, but like to get all the, if you're not in the tournament bracket, you can come in second or third or even fourth if you did well enough and still get all the stars for the course.
Yeah.
So it's I kind of like the point system, but I also feel it's kind of unfair. And what I mean by that is, you can have a run where you can get 2 or 3 frenzies and be super lucky and blow every score out of the water. And if no one else can get that or gets that lucky, or you get crappy frenzies, they're not going to get it. And they may have to try 100 times before they ever get that.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm having fun with it. That's the most important part. I'm not trying hard.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I think I missed the beta by like 12 hours or something like that. I was like, oh yeah, I got some time. I'll load it up. Oh, it ended last night. Dang it. So.
They're still very stingy with their stuff, and it's so weird that they're so stingy with Mario Kart. And maybe they think that it's Mario Kart. People are going to spend money on it. But I don't know. Like, I look at Mario Kart, and they're like, hey, guess what? You came in first place in this 2-week period, and we're going to give you 30 gems, and you need 45 for 10 summons. So we're not even going to give you a 10 summon. And then Dragalia developers are like, oops, we sneezed, and we accidentally screwed this up. Here's a free tenfold for everybody. We're sorry.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that. Like, it seems like the more of the actual Nintendo titles are kind of going downhill on the mobile scene, like with their new offerings and stinginess and whatnot, but Dragalia is the one that's still like above the top. And
above the top, they just did for the Monster Hunter collab. They give 10 free 10 summons, once a day. It's 100 free summons just like that.
Nice.
If people still spend money, I watch people still spend money, but I mean, you have to be lucky. But still, I mean, that's beyond generous. I mean, I wish Mario Kart did 10 free 10 summons, once a day. Like, that'd be great. They're not touching that.
Yeah. Let's see. So I have only been playing one game the last couple weeks, and that is Rocket League. I've gotten very little time with games, but I'm in this mode where I'm really wanting to move up. Like I don't like I really desire to be at least at diamond level, if not champion level, and so I've been trying to spend a lot more time training and everything as well. I'm like, you know what, this is a game that I think that I could get better at. I'm definitely not going to be near the top, one of the top players in the game, but it's definitely one that I've wanted to really get better at. So I've been playing a lot more of that lately. And with that though, I did get I got a couple new like controllers and stuff like that actually PDP sent me, and so I wanted to show those off and tell you a quick little review of those, not games but as accessories. First off, we have this headset that they put out. It's the LVL40 wired stereo gaming headset. So it's basically just like your basic headset, and it's colored for the original colors for the Switch Joy-Con. So it's kind of cool. It does have a built-in microphones, and it defaults to, like, when you raise it up, it mutes it automatically. So that's kind of cool. It does have some volume controls here on the back. And it's got a decent cord length, but it's not really that long. And I'll tell you why I think it's not that long in just a second. But overall, it has some good sound, but it is not comfortable for long play times. After about hour and a half, it started hurting my head. And for an adult, this is as far as it goes out. This is as big as it gets, and that's where I need it. So anybody that has a bigger head than me probably would not fit. This is probably more designed for a younger teenager, a smaller head, maybe a kid. And maybe it actually would be more comfortable for a smaller head as well. But after a while, I was definitely wanting to go back to my regular headset. But I think one of the reasons why the cord is shorter is because I think it's meant for portable play. But also, they have a new controller that came out, and let's make sure I get the right one here. Yeah, so they have the wired controller. It's the Afterglow, and it actually has an audio port in the bottom of it. So what I was able to do is plug this. When I was playing docked, I was able to plug plug this into my dock and plug the headset into my controller, and so I was able to get sound that way. And it actually is a cool setup. The controller feels great in the hands. I really like how they set up the LNR and the ZL and ZR buttons. They're a little closer together. They're very clicky, and I played a lot, pretty much exclusively the last 2 weeks on Rocket League with these controllers, and it's great. The only thing that I don't like, and actually have the wireless version too. Very, very similar. It's just heavier. It's wire. The only thing this does not do that the Pro controller does is it doesn't turn on the Switch. But everything else, it's got the rumble, it's got motion controls and everything. And the wireless one does not have the audio jack. Only the wired one does. And both of them have extra buttons on the back that you can program. And so like I've tried different things. You can program to ZR, ZL, A, B, whatever you want to do. It has a little button to change it. And I don't like it. And so what I ended up doing, the cool thing is that you don't have to have those. You can flip a little switch and pop this thing off and just play without those buttons back there. Because what I have found is my hands, where I like to rest my hands when I play, are right there on those buttons. So I end up hitting them all the time on accident. And so I'm like, this would be great if I could only hit them when I wanted to, but I ended up hitting them all the time just by squeezing the controller. So that was kind of a bummer. But they do have a bunch of controllers without those buttons. But if you do like that kind of thing, it's cool. And so I can show you. They actually they are see-through, of course, but they light up and change colors. And so you can do a bunch of different things with the colors and shift the colors to pink and red and green and have it cycle through the colors and all these different things too. So that's what those are all about. but PDP put it out. I think the controllers run, I think $39.99 or $49.99, depending if you want to get the wired or wireless ones, and the headsets. Like I don't even know if I have the paper. I have the paperwork here. I think on them. I think the headset is $29.99. So it's not that bad for a $30 headset. But that's pretty much all I've been doing the last couple weeks is checking out these controllers and playing a bunch of Rocket League.
But you've been having fun. That's important.
I have been having a blast and trying to learn so much, and yeah, it's been fun. So, but we got a bunch of news to discuss and a bunch of speculation to go into. But before we jump into any of that, I want to know: did you guys see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie yet?
Hopefully next week.
Next week, Greg, did you see it yet?
Not yet. I might be able to convince the missus and even Belle to possibly go. So, see.
Cool.
I know Rachel really loved Sonic playing, like growing up. So
yeah, nice.
Did you see it?
I have not got to see it yet.
Okay.
No, I thought about seeing it last night and ran out of time. But yeah, I'll eventually be seeing it for sure. Maybe by the next podcast we'll make sure maybe if we can all see it and we can chat about it then. But I found it's like with a lot of movies, like being on YouTube and trying to avoid spoilers is incredibly difficult. So
yes.
Even people that I really like their videos, but stop putting spoilers in your thumbnails. Anyway.
I hate when people do that. Be considerate.
Like it's been 3 days. Like I can understand if like several weeks went by, but it's been 3 days. Like, no, there's some people that haven't been able to see it yet. So. Anyway, let's get into the actual news. We found out recently that Nintendo has Nintendo Switch specifically has hit the 50 million units sold mark. That's a whole lot of Nintendo Switch systems. Do you guys know where that? I should have done a little bit more research on this. I forget where that puts us overall. It's outsold.
The Super Nintendo
is
right? Outsold.
Yeah, that was the last one that it outsold. So that's pretty high on there. I mean, it's got what, like the Wii. Is that all that's left? And the NES?
For Nintendo systems, yes.
Yeah,
the NES
like consoles, at least home consoles.
Yeah, at least home consoles, the NES and the Wii.
So that puts it in a really good spot, and I think it's only going up from here. So yeah, what do you guys think? What's your take on just the 50 million mark, Greg?
That's obviously quite an achievement. Obviously, it's not really when you're comparing to like PlayStation 4 and Xbox. I don't know where it's at in comparison to those. Probably behind both of them, realistically, if I were to take a guess. But in terms of just their previous systems, it definitely shows that it's been a high quality system. I mean, it's pretty great to see that it's already hit that mark and it's already chasing the NES, because most of the Nintendo system's graphs outside the Wii, you'll just see it like a complete downward trend. So it's kind of nice to see like the latest console starting to outperform some of the earlier ones. So say more power to it, and let's top the NES, and we'll go after the Wii then.
Yeah, it's nice to see that. Yeah, and Jakester confirmed. I was pretty sure that was the case, that he said that it has outsold the Xbox One as well.
Long time ago.
Which is crazy to think, though. I mean, like, that it came out like afterwards and it just like totally surpassed it. I'm guessing it's probably not going to outsell the PS4 ever. But it'd be kind of crazy if it did, right, Barry? I mean, like,
it's possible. Here's the thing. Right now, the Switch is in a golden position. And what I mean by that is the PS4 and the Xbox One have been out for a significant chunk of time, since 2013. So we're looking at, over 6 years at this point. If someone really wanted a PS4, if someone really wanted an Xbox One, they would have gotten it at this point. That's not to say that they're still not selling units, but the rush isn't there. The Switch, still newer. It's still not 3 years yet. We're just shy of 3 years. So absolutely can do it. But there's the PS5 and the Xbox One Series X, or the Xbox X, that is absolutely, going to take some attention away from the Switch. The Switch will no longer be the new kid in the block. And we really will depend on how Nintendo combats that and how the Switch sales look after those two consoles enter the market. Now, there's a rumor that I heard that because of the coronavirus, that the PS5 and the Xbox X might get delayed because they're manufactured in China. They may not make the 2020, prediction and forecast. They might come out in 2021, which would be the best news for Nintendo, because that means Nintendo could absolutely ride out this whole year with much less competition. But the only way the Switch is going to hit PS4, in my opinion, is with a revision. And if they go the sequel route instead of the revision route, which I think would probably be smarter, the Switch won't hit the PS4, but the Switch will still be very successful and very quick. Again, they could also position the Switch 2 as more of a hybrid and still develop games for the Switch and make the Switch, as in the Switch Lite, the successor to the 3DS line, and go back to having a kind of a portable and a console again. It's all speculation, though. But as of the achievement, I mean, less than 3 years, over 50 million. That's exceptional. That is PS4 numbers. If you think about it, PS4 has been on the market for 6 years, and it's over 100 million. So it's right there.
Yeah,
there's no question about it. It is selling exceptionally well, and hopefully continues.
Yeah. So there's speculation that Nintendo started the coronavirus ticket. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God, no! Don't
awful.
Even
that'd
say
be
that. That
awful.
No.
Yeah. Where's Zamberry?
Really quick.
Or Greg?
Yeah, speaking of that virus, I did see something I think posted saying that the Switch could even get kind of temporary out of stock due to that too. So.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy how it affects a lot of things. I mean, way beyond video games, for sure, because there's so much that's created or developed, made in China. So, one of the things that we do know is that Nintendo keeps continuing to release some special editions. So we got a special edition Animal Crossing of the version of the original Nintendo Switch design, and then we also just got a new coral colored Switch Lite that's announced. It's going to be coming out on April 3rd. So these, two new designs. Is this going to be enough to make you want to get another Switch, Greg?
Sure. No, I haven't really been into chasing the colors, so they would actually need to do Barry's idea and do like a hardware revision for me to even consider something.
Yeah. Do you like these new two designs, Barry, or would you rather?
I mean, the designs are nice, but they're not going to get me to buy it.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah. I'm not saying that they're bad designs at all. I'm just saying I don't have a need to get a new Switch. And if I did, then obviously I would pick a new designed one with some new colors. But I'm not really in the market for a new console.
Yeah. I was actually surprised that they went with the original Switch design for the Animal Crossing one. I don't know. Did that surprise you guys? I figured, I mean, just because the nature of the Switch Lite it's one unibody thing. It feels like you can do more design stuff with it, but they decided to go with the original one instead. Were you surprised by that,
I kind of
Barry?
feel like they're alternating. Like the last special edition we had was the Pokemon, which was a Switch Lite. So now we're going back to the regular. So the next one we're going to get is a Switch Lite. I feel like that's what they're going to do.
Could be, but yeah, I mean, who knows where the colors and designs and everything are going to go, and if the handhelds alone have told us anything about the past, those different colors, they do sell, and a lot of collectors out there will continue buying it. So if they keep popping those things out, we're only going to see that number rise, and it may actually help it go a little faster as well. And who knows, next thing we'll be talking about is reaching 75 million and maybe 100 million eventually.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. One of the things we do not know, however, is, again, referring back to our title of this podcast, Wherefore art thou, Nintendo Direct? Where is it? We were assuming, because of prior years, that something would be coming in the winter. So we were thinking maybe January originally. We speculated a little bit about that at the beginning of the year, and I think all of us said, yeah, it's probably going to come in February, not necessarily January, maybe late January. So January came and went. February, we're like over halfway through February now, and still no Nintendo Direct. What we do have, though, is an Animal Crossing New Horizons focused Direct that's going to be, that was just announced today, and it's going to be coming out on this Thursday, February 20th. It's going to run from 9 a.m. to about 9:25 a.m. Eastern Time. And it's going to focus a lot on Nook's incorporated Deserted Island Getaway Package. But that's all we got so far. So, Barry, what is going on with this Nintendo Direct? Why have we not seen it yet? And is this Animal Crossing Direct enough? Or, I don't know, what do you think?
Well, I think everybody speculated that there would be an Animal Crossing Direct. I mean, it's just one of those titles. But that is one game, and it's one game we knew about. So it's been 5 months, almost a half a year since the last Direct. During that time, we had Nindies Indie World in December. We had the Game Awards in December, which was very lackluster from what we expected there to be. We had the Pokemon Mini Direct in January, and we had the Smash Brothers final character reveal in January. None of those equal a true Direct. I mean, the Indie World is about as close as could be, but that's not a real Nintendo Direct. All of that other stuff could have been put in a Nintendo Direct, and it makes me think they honestly don't have anything to show, and I think they're just trying to just whistle and walk away. I mean, even the announcement, we're going to talk about it shortly, of the NES and the SNES games added to the Nintendo Switch Online, that could have been in a Direct. None of this is in a Direct, so I honestly think they have nothing to show. And I think that they're just being quiet about it. But it's almost half a year. I mean, the whole point of these is to get. They're supposed to be every couple months, like every third month, like 4 a year is what we expect. And this is ridiculous at this point. Yeah. So the Animal Crossing Direct, again, it's what's expected. I think it's great, but will this satisfy? No. And I honestly think this Animal Crossing Direct is going to get a lot more hate, just because it's not a standard Direct, and that's what people are hungry for, and that's just the way it works. Mm-hmm. You really want a steak, and they're going to give you, a half a hamburger. You're going to be like, this isn't a steak. A half a hamburger still tastes good, but it's not a steak. Right. And I think that's a problem, because if we don't get a Direct in February, which is still possible, the rumor was 2, then when are we going to get March? And if we get it in March, we're probably not going to get another one until June, because that is E3. But if it comes out February, there's a chance maybe in April we'll get one. But the odds are, whenever we get this Direct, we're not getting anything else until E3. And that sucks, because we used to get like January and April and then June, and it was nice. We had a couple things in the first half, but I don't know. I think they're at a loss for what to show off.
Yeah. Jake's just thinking April. I'm curious. I mean, at this point, we got a new president in. He's been, working on kind of making Nintendo his own thing. And if it wasn't for this Animal Crossing Direct, they actually refer to as a Direct on this upcoming Thursday, I would have almost thought that they're doing away with that terminology and that plan altogether.
Was the Pokemon a Direct as well, or was it just a presentation?
Ooh, that's a good question. Pokemon may have been a Direct as well, but I know like the Smash Brothers was just a presentation, and the Nindies thing was different. They even did away with the Nindies, title last time. Indie World. And so if it wasn't for like maybe Pokemon, but especially Animal Crossing, I would have almost thought maybe that was the end of Direct.
It was Pokemon Direct January 9th. Yeah. So it was actually called that.
Or maybe they're just changing their design and only doing Directs for specific games now moving forward. I don't know. Greg, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I always look forward to the Directs. So, usually the first one of the year kind of announces a few new things that we weren't expecting that could be out like around the E3 time or like even August or something like that. So, I don't know. I would have liked to see a Direct and still keep my fingers crossed that we get something for next week or the week after, but we don't know until they let us know. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got really disappointed by this direct announcement just because of Jakester. Posted in the Discord, and I was busy, and he's like, "This is not a drill. This is not a drill," with a link. I'm like, "Oh my god! Did they actually announce it direct because we're doing a podcast?" And I saw it. I was like, "Oh, but it's not the one I was hoping for."
It's not direct. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I do want to know a little more about Animal Crossing, but at this point, I don't really care. Like, just give me the game. Let me figure it out on my own. I don't really need 25 more minutes just focused on this game.
Well,
Like,
people said the same thing about Smash Brothers, but the Smash fans ate it up. So there's Animal Crossing fans right now that are probably listening, like, "Shush, Steve, shush right now." I do want that 25 minutes.
I bet, but they are also probably saying, "I just want to play the game too." So at least we agree on that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, are either of you guys hyped about Animal Crossing? Is this like you are really excited about more information about this game, or are you kind of in the same camp I am?
Well, having never played Animal Crossing, can't say I'm really excited for the game or the direct. So.
Man, never played Animal Crossing. No, I love Animal Crossing. It's one of those games that I can easily lose myself in until I eventually, get the best house upgrade and pay off all of it. And then I'm like, there's no point in continuing. I did all the objectives. But it's a social game, and my enjoyment in Animal Crossing is going to be 100% dependent on how much my wife plays. Because you can get like one city or one town, you pass back and forth, and you help each other out, and you work like that. I loved. We did that in New Leaf. We did that, and we had a lot of fun. And I did that, with previous people and then the previous versions of the games, and that's really where Animal Crossing shines. So I'll get it, and the length that I play it is solely dependent on her, 100%.
Nice. Yeah, I think that will be the same, and I'm excited that there is more of an online component this time around, because that could keep me in the game a little bit more. We don't quite know, what extent, but we do know that there's going to be more, and I think that will increase that side of it for me, because I did not have that many people to really play with locally, and so I did all the stuff that I could do single player, and then eventually I'm like, I'm done, and I never got into the home console versions of Animal Crossing. I only stuck to the handheld ones because it felt more like this is a game I'm going to play on the go a lot. And after a while, it gets to that point where it's one of those games that I'll pop on and like find weeds all over my village, pull them up and everything, do a few things, turn it off, and then a few months go by and I'll do the same thing over again. And so if they do have some things that keep me going a little longer and keep it more social, I will be excited for that. And at least I'll be playing with Hassan, who is in the chat. So Hassan, we're talking about Animal Crossing. He's probably one of the ones that you were talking about. Yeah, he was. Yeah. He heard you talking and said, "Yes, I need to chime in and say, Steve, no, I am excited for 25 minutes of Animal Crossing on Thursday." So.
Exactly. That whole weed thing is pretty funny. Like I popped in my GameCube copy, and it was like talk to a villager. It's like, oh, it's been like 3,000 something days since I last saw you, and I'm like, holy crap! Now you make me feel like crap.
Yeah.
Weeds everywhere, cockroaches running around the house. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna power this off and I'm just gonna put you to bed.
Right. And it's always sad because and then you find out that some villagers left and you're like, oh, they were my friends back then, but I did abandon them for 3,000 days. So, okay, I get it.
Well, see, that's one of the things when we were playing New Leaf, my wife has a particular character she loves. And she pretty much said, if they ever leave, I'm going to cry. And that's why we haven't played New Leaf in a while, and she hasn't actually popped it in because she doesn't want to pop it in and see that she left. It's like Schrodinger's cat. Yeah. So as long as she doesn't touch it, they're always there. Right. But with the amiibo cards, now I don't know if this is going to use amiibo, maybe they'll talk about it, but the amiibo cards for Animal Crossing allowed you to get any villager you wanted. If you had the card, you can scan it in the update to New Leaf. And they would show up, which I thought was great because that's one of the things where if you want a particular villager You either have to find somebody with it and beg them to come or pray. And I really like the fact that at least the amiibo cards let you choose. So I hope they use them, but they probably won't.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows where Amiibo are really moving in the future? It's kind of been unsure. I mean, we still keep getting the Smash Brothers ones, but that's really it, except for like special editions here and there, of other ones. So.
All that's left are the 11 DLC fighters for Smash that have been announced,
Mhm.
because Shovel Knight was the last one, and those came out already.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, Greg, you said you've never played Animal Crossing. Are you going to be getting this one?
I'm still on the fence. I mean, I've been kind of interested to try to see what it's about, but sometimes like read stuff and it doesn't sound like I would really enjoy it because it just kind of sounds like it's like almost like a life simulator. You just kind of like farm and like meet people and pay off like
debt.
a house.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Nintendo's version of like The Sims or something like that.
Well, this has new things like the crafting system, and like that's a whole new level of depth that there wasn't there before. Like the way Animal Crossing originally was not one of those games you sit down and go, I'm going to binge this for the next 8 hours because I'm off today. It's you put it in, you play it for 20, 30 minutes, and you're done. And then the next day you come in and you're excited to come in and check your mail, talk to the villagers, see what the shop has restocked, see what's going on. Oh, there's an event today. You're actually excited to go into it. It's pretty much like the equivalent of a mobile game well before the mobile formula ever existed.
It's true. Yeah, and so much better. But
It was so much better.
So much better. Yeah.
So I think with this crafting thing, they're trying to add more elements to it where, hey, you can play it for longer, because if you want a particular bench, you don't have to wait for the shop to have it in stock. You can go and farm the materials and make it yourself. So I think that's going to add a lot of replayability to the game.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm excited about Thursday. I'm excited to see what this whole deserted island getaway thing is all about and everything, to kind of focus more on that. But I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe they'll hide the real virtual console in there like they originally did with the GameCube game.
Great. They should tie it all together. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Speaking of virtual console, did you do that on purpose? I think you did. Nice little segue here into our the NES and the SNES online service. Finally, for Nintendo Switch, got a couple more games. Finally, so both services got 2 more games, and I think I can actually see if I can share the screen like I did last time. Oh, there we go. Cool. So both services got 2 more games. The cool thing about the SNES games are that these 2 have never hit the United States shores before, never been released in the United States. So we're getting Poppin' Twinbee for SNES and Smash Tennis. Both those games, like I said, have never been released in the United States. And for the NES, we're getting Shadow of the Ninja and Eliminator Boat Duel. So of those games, they are actually, before I get into questions or anything, they came out yesterday, I believe. So February or tomorrow. They will come out tomorrow. So of those games, and any of them are you really, really excited about playing, or is this kind of just a meh release? What do you think, Greg?
It's just like you said, more of like a meh release for me. It wasn't like ones I was really looking for. So, I mean, the day comes where I really need something new to play, I might check them out, but I don't think I've even played them on the NES or NES. So,
yeah. All right, Barry.
It's some good titles, but they're niche titles, and I think it illustrates a problem with the service. And what that is instead of getting games every month like we used to, now we're getting games sparingly, and now we're getting games sparingly without a hook. And by hook, I think you need one killer app every time you do this if you're going to wait a couple months. One Nintendo title, one great third-party title, just something to pull people in. Niche titles are some of the greatest games, and I absolutely love niche games 100%. But for the mass media, for the mass populace, they see this and go, eh?
Yeah.
And that's not what you want for a subscription service. You want that big headline game, and then, oh yeah, these other ones are also there.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain niche titles that absolutely deserve spotlight. And I'm not saying any of these don't, because I've heard some really good things. But these ones aren't quote unquote system sellers. These are, hey, I need something to play in between AAA releases.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pick it up if it's cheap enough. So I might mess around with it. It really depends. But it's not going to be for a while.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you guys. Like, I'll play them because they're free. And I already have the service, but I'm not in a huge rush to like, oh man, I can't wait till Poppin' Twinbee releases tomorrow, or Shadow of the Ninja. It's gonna be one of those games that are like, oh, I got an extra 30 minutes here and there. In between Rocket League sessions or something like that, I'll open up, the NES online or something like that, and play a different game that I've never played before. Yeah, I'm with you guys. Like, they need stuff that I think as well, like where you're saying, Barry, is that those system seller games are those ones that will get more subscribers to their service as well. Those are the ones that are like, well, I tried that for the 30-day trial. It wasn't whatever and then there's not been anything that's made me want to continue this other than just playing my friends online. So I'll just hold back on my subscription until maybe one day they do launch one of those games again.
And what's killer is that there's so many great NES and SNES games that aren't on the server yet. And some from Nintendo. Like, there's no Donkey Kong Country games on the service yet. What the heck? And then there's a killer amount of third party. So many RPGs on the Super Nintendo. The Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 3 or 6, Final Fantasy 2 or 4. Put those on there.
Yeah.
But that would be great. Now, I know some games probably aren't going to go there. Like, I really doubt any of the Mega Man games outside of maybe Soccer, because there's the Mega Man Legacy collections. Street Fighter games are probably not going to go there because there's a Street Fighter collection. So I understand that. But there's plenty of killer app games that are not in any collection available right now.
Yeah. Let's see what they're talking about in the chat. Jakester says that the continuous lack of Earthbound is frustrating him. There's nothing really catching his attention with the service. Hassan's saying that he hasn't actually touched the NES or the SNES apps since they released, pretty much. He grew up on the 64, and so he's really wanting the 64 games to eventually come. Yeah, and then Jakester chimed in and said he never played an N64 game, so he's
Wow.
excited about those games eventually maybe coming, so he could get a chance to play it. So, yeah, man, so much nostalgia for 64. Of course, all of us grew up on NES and SNES, but 64 definitely holds a special place in our hearts as well.
64 is not aged as gracefully as the other systems, unfortunately.
That's true. Yeah, being the first one with 3D, it wasn't quite there yet. But lots of great memories in those games, though. Speaking of the SNES online service, though, it is important for you guys to know, unless they're sold out. But for now, at least I think, the SNES controllers are back in stock on the Nintendo store for U.S. customers. So
Did you finally get one?
I finally got one. I ordered it. I was locked in. I saw, actually, Greg, I think you were the one that posted it in our Discord, and I was like, oh man, because it had been a few hours since you posted it, and it was like, they better still be in stock, and they were. So hopefully they have more. It's funny because they said check back in late January, or check back in January, and it took until February 18th for them to finally come back in stock. But at least they are. So if you want one, I think they're still like $30 in America. So I ordered one because, like, I have to. But I only did get one because there's no point in getting more than one for me. But yeah.
I don't think your wife will play Super Nintendo with you.
If she does, I have a bunch of these controllers that work perfectly fine.
So you would give her the equivalent of getting the third-party controller when going to a friend's house, the Player 2 knockoff controller. Really?
She can have my Pro controller. No.
It's not a Super Nintendo.
No, actually, I would play with the Pro controller as well. In fact, that's what I do now. So if I do play SNES, I'm perfectly fine with the Pro controller. In fact, I do prefer it. And I was holding back on the SNES when I was like, I want it, but would I actually use it? I need to have it just to have it. So I may just actually leave it in the box. Who knows?
It's fun playing the Super Nintendo games with the controller.
Yeah. So. All right, let's move on to another thing that's happened over the last couple weeks, which is kind of crazy. I feel like it was kind of rumored and then all of a sudden came out of nowhere, at least in my perspective. And that's the Wonderful 101. And I think Greg, if I remember correctly, did we talk about this last podcast about like speculating in like different games that we would like to come to the Switch? And I can't remember. I feel like we've had this conversation before.
I thought we did. I thought we really were talking about the 101 because there's not really other games like it.
Yeah, I think we did, and I feel like it was like 2 days later, and probably because they heard it on our podcast. They decided to Platinum Games went to Kickstarter of all places, because that's what even really popular, companies that are doing really well still go to Kickstarter nowadays, and they launched a Kickstarter campaign. I think I can pull it up real quick here. And yeah, so as you can see, if you're watching the video version of the podcast, they were after $49,433. And well, they've definitely surpassed that. I think we're right now just under $1.7 million that they have raised, with 16 days to go still. So this was for the remastered version of the game that came out on Wii U, so to put it on the Nintendo Switch. And so that's their original goal, was to bring it to the Switch. And they way surpassed that goal, and now just under $1.7 million. They have hit 4 of the stretch goals so far, which means that they have now locked in a Steam version of the game, a PS4 version of the game, a time attack mode that will be added, and Luca's First Mission. And Luca's First Mission is a brand new 2D side-scrolling adventure starring a young hero. And they have at least 2 more stretch goals that we know about. And that's at the 1.75 million, so they're almost there. And then they'll release a remixed soundtrack featuring a secret special guest. And at the 2 million mark, they're going to release or include Luca's second mission. So that same new hero in the 2D version will come back for a second mission. So that's a lot added to the game already, including a Steam version and a PS4 version. Like I said, 16 days left to go, so there's still a lot of time. Who knows where they're going to go for this, but that's a lot more than they were originally wanting to raise for this game. And I'm wondering if they may even hit like a 3 million mark by the time they get done with all this. So what I want to know is, number one, have you guys backed it, and are you planning on backing it? And just your general thoughts about this Kickstarter campaign. Let's go to you first, Barry.
Yeah, I backed it on day one. I backed it before it was actually funded, which was like within the first 30 minutes. But I have the 2 physical deal, which I had to update it because I had just the Switch physical, and then they added a new thing where you could update it to 2 physical, so 1 Switch, 1 PS4. Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for them. I think Nintendo was pretty stupid on this, and what I mean by that is, if it only took $50,000 for them to bring it over, why wouldn't Nintendo fork over $50,000? That seems like such a small amount of money for that company to do. So now my biggest question, from what I understand, is that they talked with Nintendo. Nintendo gave them their blessing, and said, like, if you want to bring it, you're gonna have to do it yourself. But who owns the rights to this game? I know it was co-owned by Nintendo and Platinum, but did Platinum buy the rights from Nintendo? Did Nintendo just forfeit the rights? Or does Nintendo still own the rights, and this will be like the first Nintendo owned rights of a game on Sony platform, which is totally possible. Because I know, like, Bayonetta, a lot of people are like, oh, Bayonetta, come over now, and Astro Chain. And I know Astro Chain and Bayonetta were very successful, unlike Wonderful 101, but Nintendo actually funded Bayonetta, so I don't think those are going to go over. But I really think Nintendo dropped the ball on this, because I've been saying for a while they should have just bought Platinum, but they haven't, and clearly this is showing that there's an interest in Platinum games, and if it would have only cost them $50,000 to do this and keep it exclusive, then Nintendo is really stupid about it. But I know they have a really good relation, so we'll see really what happens with it. But I mean, I'm happy for the Platinum guys, and I absolutely supported the Kickstarter.
Cool. Greg, what do you think about all this? And did you back it yet, by the way?
No, I haven't backed. Haven't really backed much stuff. I don't think I've backed a single thing on Kickstarter yet. But it was great that they hit the target. I was kind of surprised that they had to even create one, because you kind of almost think that they would have the funding already needed to port it over. But I don't know if that was their way of gauging demand to see how many people were actually going to buy a copy of it. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It was a game I was kind of expecting to come to the Switch, but I don't know if I'll end up getting it. I don't think I really enjoyed too much of it on the Wii U. That was one of the main games I was super excited about when the Wii U was first coming out, and then it was one of the bigger games that was kind of a downfall that I didn't really enjoy as much after having purchased it. So
Interesting. Yeah, it was one that I played the demos and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it, but yeah, for whatever reason, I never ended up getting. But I'm excited for it to come to Switch. I'm interested. I haven't backed it yet, and I'm on the fence whether I will or not. What I want to know is, will I be saving any money by backing it, or should I just get it when it comes out, is what I want to know. But even if it's just like a couple dollars, like I'll just wait until it comes out. But I want to know, like, what you guys think about, like, how the game mechanics will change by putting it on the Switch, because it was kind of a dual screen sort of thing. It wasn't like it was. I mean, it did integrate the second screen a lot, but will that be an easy switch over, or do you think they're gonna have to really rework a lot of stuff, Barry? What do you think?
I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work. I'm sure they've already figured it out. In fact, I'm fairly certain they figured it out before bringing it to Nintendo. And they probably had, like most pitches, had like a video or a demonstration of here's how it would work on your game. And I'm sure it's got to be something fluid and something really nice. It's playable at PAX. I think PAX is next weekend or something like that.
Oh, that's true.
So it will be playable at PAX East. So if anyone's there, and I have friends going, so I'm gonna ask them and find out more definitively how it plays. But I mean, they're ready to show it off, so that tells me that they've got it figured out.
That's a good point. Yeah, I forgot that they would be at PAX East, and I think didn't they? Yeah, estimated delivery of this game is April. So I mean, it's got to be in its like final stages already. I mean, they've got to be have a lot of it done already at this point, and probably like they had to have known that they were going to hit the stretch goals for at least Steam, if not PS4. So my guess is they were already working on that ahead of time too. This is kind of like what you said, Greg, just kind of to gauge what the fan base was going to be at. I'm guessing, because there's no way they needed that money to be able to develop this game. They probably already did it, and they just wanted to see how much interest they could stir up through Kickstarter. But
you're probably right.
But it is interesting to see, like, yeah, like this. Like, I think a lot of people thought, well, like you, Barry, like Nintendo should just buy Platinum, and now all of a sudden they're going to be developing more games for other systems. So it's kind of crazy to see where that goes. Let's move on to our last news item for today. And Greg, you said that there's a little bit going on in the Fire Emblem Heroes world, huh? So you want to update us on what's going on around there?
Sure will. One of your favorite things in the world, the Faye channel.
I know. That's why I left it to you, because I wasn't even going to start even getting close to the Faye channel thing.
But actually, the original voice actress was on vacation, so they actually had a different person come in and narrate it this time around.
Just as annoying?
Actually, I think it was highly praised, and everyone's wanting him to come back.
Nice.
Maybe Steve will watch again.
Maybe I will.
So yeah, it was primarily covering like the third anniversary that was just already like 2 weeks ago, or a little bit more. It was like February 2nd or something like that. Um, so some of like the events that are ongoing now, I'm probably not going to go too much into it, but there is some other topics at hand. It started off with the Choose Your Legends 4 event. The winners came out. It actually turned into Choose Your Three Houses because it was Eldegard, Dimitri, Claude, and Lysithea are the four ones that are going to get special costumes. So that's certainly interesting. There was a number of people on like forums and stuff that said like, why is Three Houses like so overwhelmingly here? It has like a recency bias. Like, we still want like Marth to get a legendary alt and all that kind of drama going on. So I'm overall pretty fine with it. So the other parts of it were just some like the events. They had like daily summoning events for like 17 days of just new like previous banners, each lasting a day, and you get a free summon on each one, along with you can spend your currency on those to get some of the older characters. There were like special reward maps and quests and stuff all tied around with that stuff. They had they're guaranteed a 5-star unit from all the special heroes that released throughout the last year, which are all the ones in the special costumes and different like holiday spirits and attire. Then they also went through the Hero Rises event for 2020. It was everyone got to vote on any hero that's currently in the game to appear in a voting gauntlet in just like a week from now. We'll duke it out, and then the winner of the gauntlet could be distributed to every player in the game that's still playing. Then they also revealed what the Divine Codes item that they started releasing in December was going to be used for. You can compile some combat manuals, then you can get like free merges or skills for other units that you have to make them stronger. And then the most controversial part of it was the introduction of their subscription service called the Fey Pass. For a low price of $9.49 a month, you get 2 5-star heroes that they are like really older units in the game, like with a special attire from the Fire Emblem Heroes world. So there's like Lynn and Cordelia that are dressed like in costumes from like book 2 and book 3 storylines that have already been in the game for some time. You also get some exclusive quests that you can go through, and then the part that everyone else is most upset about is you get to have 2 more summoner support units, so you can have a total of 3 only if you have the pass. Then they also added features that are free in normal gacha games like auto start and react. Pretty much auto start, you get to select auto battle and it'll automatically play through your mode until you're out of stamina. And the react part is you can redo the previous turn if you like made a mistake or lost a unit, and it even applies if you get the game over screen. It'll start the last turn before you hit the game over screen if you want to try something different. So those are all locked behind their monthly paywall for $9.49 a month. Those
I'm
kind
glad
of
you repeated that because I could have sworn that I heard you wrong the first time you said that. Wow.
So that's kind of what they did. They were kind of copying like the Mario Kart and Pocket Camp models. So kind of trying to see if you guys think the price seems somewhat fair. If you were still playing the game, do you think you would get it? Do you think that's a bad idea? Game subscription services should go away for mobile games. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts, like Steve and Barry?
Yeah, I'll jump in because I've never played the game, so I don't have a whole lot to say. So all this is coming strictly off of what you just shared. That's a lot of money for that, and it sounds like it's a pay to win model as well, not just a pay to play. It's a pay to win, and because you get some different advantages if you're paying. That does not rub me the right way. If I ever see any game that does that sort of thing, that just I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't. It does. Yeah, it doesn't sound good. I'm like, I feel like a lot of people would get upset, and if I was playing it, I'd definitely be in that camp as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that in the terms of pay to win. It doesn't sound like pay to win to me. It sounds like pay for conveniences,
Hmm.
because like things like the auto, that's in Dragalia, and I use that all the time. When they added an auto, it made that game so much more fun, because like if you pick up that game like twice or three times a day and you look at, oh, I have 100 stamina to burn through. Now I have to sit there and actually run through this while I'm just farming a particular thing. Now you can just hit it, put a button and let it run and go, oh, it's done, or even set it to run X amount of times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's convenience. It's called quality of life improvements. And to put a quality of life behind a paywall is kind of asinine. Especially like Greg said, other games have that stuff for free, and it should be. I know some people, like in Mario Kart, were miffed that that like 200cc was behind that, and I agree. I don't think 200cc should be behind it. However, I don't think the $5 a month is that bad for the bonus stuff that they do give you if you play the tour. I think that's fine, because they do give you some 5-star units, or some high end units as they call them, for free. So I'm like, or for what you pay for, and $5 a month isn't that bad. $10, you have to get double, and I don't think there's enough value there, especially because it sounds like those units are older units, or and they're not part of the meta. They're more for fun, or for memes, or for saying you have them, and it's preying on the fear of missing out. It's preying on, oh my god, I have to have every unit. Oh, if I don't pay this, I'm not going to get this unit. And oh my god, I absolutely have to have them all. It's the Pokemon kind of. Got to catch them all. So I heard that they were doing a subscription. I didn't hear what it was. And if I was still playing, I can absolutely say that I would not pay that. If Dragalia followed suit and did a subscription, and it was like $5 a month, would I buy that? Being that I play that game every day, it really depends on what they do. And if they said, oh, we're gonna, the auto stuff is gonna be paid on, I'm gonna say no, and that's gonna get me to quit the game. Like, and I think Fire Emblem is in a position where they don't need this subscription service. They're making so much money already. Why rock the boat? I think it's stupid. There's a saying that says, is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. and that's really what I feel like they're doing here, and I think they're going to lose subscriptions, and I think it's a really dumb idea. If they did it right, now it's not to say subscription services are bad or that they don't work, because the way you have to figure is, how often do you play a game? If you look at $10 a month, that's $120 a year. That sounds like a lot of money, and you're probably right. But if it's something you play every day for a year, that's very cheap. Many people will pay $60 for a game, play it for 4 hours, and then put it down and be done with it. So if you look at it that way, it's very cheap. And if you played it every single day, then it's absolutely positively worth the money. But they have to be providing you ample services. And I don't think those are ample services, in my opinion.
Yeah. One of the things that I had a question about was Greg, you mentioned, and again, I've not played the game, so I don't know what that exactly means, but the extra summoner, is that right?
Yeah, the summoner support. So it's pretty much like when you're playing against any other teams, it gives +2 to all of your stats. So the game comes with one unit, you can put that on, and then with the pass, you can put it on an additional 2 units.
Okay, I think that's the thing that triggered in my mind, the pay to win thing, because that sounded, if I understood it correctly, and it sounds like I did, that sounds like something they're like, oh, you get extra, basically you get bonuses and boosts to your team because you paid $10 a month. So that sounds annoying to me, because I'm going to potentially lose things because I don't get the benefit that other people have.
Yeah, I mean, you'll never see it on like enemy teams, because like when their player-to-player matches are determined, it's pretty much the AI just controls like the other person's like team that they set up. So if they have any type of supports, their stats will never be seen or accounted for, and any summoner supports they have will not be present during the match.
Gotcha.
So it's only on it only immediately helps you beat their team like specifically because your guy has an extra 2 attack points, which could be the difference of beating a unit or actually losing the battle.
Okay.
In some cases, depending on a lot of other factors, obviously.
All right. So yeah, what are your thoughts about this? Are you negating it?
So since I was already paying the monthly promo price of like $10, I kind of went ahead at least for this first month and kind of signed up just to kind of see how it's going to go. I don't know if I'll keep it the entire year long, but at least at this point, I feel like I could still do it like the first few months and still be getting the value out of it because the items from the quests are most like important because they're pretty hard to get just playing them like week by week. So just getting those free item drops is very beneficial to help like grow teams and resources and everything.
Yeah, it's about how often you play, and if you feel those items are absolutely worth it, then don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. I mean, it's your money, and it's you're gonna get your money's worth out of it.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
Yeah, but I every time they post anything on Twitter, it's always like, oh, cancel Fay Pass, get rid of it. And, like, there's so many angry people about this, and like pretty much split like based on what you guys have been saying. Like, it doesn't seem worth it. Like, why should we pay this? This is gonna kill the game. Like, there's so much hate around that topic right now. So
Understandable.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Cherry Goblin in the chat saying it's subscription for a free game to play, really a big deal. It's a free game, you get what you pay for. Yeah, I think some of it, like, in Barry, you said it's about rocking the boat. I think they're just trying to find more ways of making money. They want to stay at number one.
Yep.
And yeah, I guess to understand it a little more. I think as a completely ignorant person, I think at first it sounded like something that was like, whoa, that's crazy. Why would people pay that much money? Now, okay, getting a little bit more understanding. Yeah, so maybe there are going to be some people that really do want to pay that if they get a whole lot of value out of it. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to make sure that if they're going to keep that free-to-play model going, that's the reason a lot of people do play that game, because they don't like paying money. They like to just get whatever they can for free. And if they can keep playing and it's not broken for those people that don't pay the money, then I think, why not try things, Nintendo? Why not try to see what you can get out of people and keep making more money?
It's kind of weird that they do this in a game that is so much PvP. Like, Fire Emblem Heroes does have that PvP element, and I'm glad they don't do that in a game like Trigalia, which doesn't have the PvP element at all. It's all PvE. You do team up with other people, but you're all going against an enemy. You're not going against each other. Which is great. So even if someone joins like your raid group and they have a better character that you didn't get, or better armor, or weapons or worm prints that you didn't get, they're only helping you. By them being there, it only benefits you. It's not like, oh man, I'm going to lose because they paid or they got lucky. And I think in a system like that, it's more beneficial versus when you're going against other people, because it's like, yeah, I'm free to play, and I'm going against somebody who has this unit that they obviously wailed on, and now they're just going to destroy my team, and I can't win.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the matchmaking also takes into fact like each unit gets certain scores and stuff, so you can't just like enter with like 4 level 1 units and you're playing against level 40 units that are like max merged and all of that. Like, it clearly weeds that kind of stuff out. So there's like scoring rules in place and everything. So
I think that does help too. Yeah, I didn't quite know all that, I think, when you're first explaining it, and so that was why I was like, that sounds weird, but okay, the game, if it does kind of even things out a little bit, that makes more sense. But it's definitely not enough to get me to play the game, so I'm also gonna still stay away, and that has little to do with this. It's more just that, again, I'm not a big fan of Fire Emblem or that style of game, but yeah, I'm interested to see what you think, Greg, over the next month or so, and kind of report back if your money has been well spent or not.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that I think brings us to the end of all the big news stuff. Again, we'll have some more news to talk about our next podcast because we got a Animal Crossing Direct coming up, and maybe, hopefully, we'll have a Nintendo Direct eventually, maybe before the next podcast. Sometimes they do announce them at the last minute, so who knows? Maybe they'll try to sneak one in the very end of February. Probably not.
We have an extra day this year.
That's
so.
true. It's a leap day podcast or a leap day direct. That's what they're gonna do.
They might do it. Who knows?
Who knows?
That's awesome.
But that's it's on a Saturday though. Maybe they'll just call it that instead. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Before we close up and wrap up with what we're looking forward to playing and all that sort of thing, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in once again to the NintendoFuse Podcast. Again, if you are brand new, make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you use to watch or listen to us. If you're on YouTube, hit that bell as well to be alerted every time that we post a new video, every time we go live. But yeah, if you're on a podcast app, be sure to subscribe there. Leave some comments. That'd be great. And that'd be just awesome for you to do that. But also join us on our social media and our Discord. All those links are in our show notes in the description here on YouTube. We would love to continue that conversation between podcasts. But let's talk about between podcasts. What are you guys gonna be playing over the next couple weeks? We do have a few notable games that I was looking over. Couple from over the last week or so because we didn't have our last podcast a couple weeks ago. So a game called Warface. It's an FPS game. Just came out today, I believe. It's a free-to-play game, 32 players. So that came out today. A little game called Snack World: The Dungeon Crawl Gold came out on February 14th, as well as Darksiders Genesis was also February 14th. Rune Factory 4 Special comes on February 25th, as well as Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Edition, also on February 25th. And right after our next podcast, we're going to get Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX on March 6th. So that's just a few games that stood out to me. I'm sure there's others that I probably overlooked. But maybe some of those games or others on your list that you're excited about coming out and playing the next couple weeks. Barry, let's go to you first.
Those are some great games. It's already starting to build up. My goal is I plan to finish Tokyo Mirage Sessions this week, as well as play a little more Ten of Light, and obviously like 14. After I finish Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I'm looking to go into Darksiders Genesis, which I do have already. I'm a big fan of Darksiders and really wanting to see where they go with this new style. I want to play Rune Factory 4 so badly, but I don't know if I'll have the time, as well as Mega Man Zero ZX. I never finished those, and it's like I tried again with the DS Zero collection, and I didn't there, so I'm kind of like, will I do it this time on the Switch? And I have the demo for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I did download the demo, but I haven't played it yet. I don't know whether or not I will jump into that. There's a possibility. It really depends on where I'm at with the other games, but that's my tentative goal. Anything can change at a moment's notice.
Yeah, for sure. Greg, what are you gonna be up to in the next couple weeks?
The Snack World one, I remember that sounding kind of interesting. I might be looking a little bit into more videos and gameplay for that. One that I just saw earlier today was actually King Lucas. Like I saw it was coming out, and I'm like, I do love those swords and shield type games. That's why I got Pokemon Sword. So naturally, that sounded very intriguing to me. I watched some gameplay videos that somebody, I guess, got it early, and I'm already pretty much sold on it. So I'm pretty much will be buying it when it comes out in like 3 days. But other than that, it's pretty much just going to be going through with my current log of games that I'm been playing.
Cool. Have you played Pokemon yet?
Not yet. That's going to be coming up on the list. I wanted to probably gonna do Super Lucky after Luigi's Mansion, and then I'll be playing Pokemon. I think right after that.
If you like, I think it's like a 2D type, brawler. 99 Vitas apparently is on sale right now on the Switch eShop for $1. I saw.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that might be something to throw in there.
Yeah, just in general, it's probably worth announcing or talking or just like sharing with you guys, our listeners, is that there are a bunch of games on the eShop that are on sale right now. Just like a bunch of games that are, some of them are just a couple dollars off, some of them are like 50% off, some of them are like 75, 80, 90% off. And so you can get a bunch of games for like $1. I think there's a few games that I saw for like 14 cents. I don't know. So like, some of those games, some of them aren't good, but for 14 cents, it's fun to just kind of play around and see what you can find. Um, who knows? Yeah. So what I'm looking forward to, I'll continue working through Rocket League and hopefully increasing and getting my rank up. Really, really excited about hopefully doing that for this season. And then I want to get back into Pokemon Sword and actually make my way through the game instead of just getting lost in all of the wild area. Like I continue doing every time I boot it up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna advance, and then I get lost in the wild area more. I'm looking forward to eventually making my way through that. But also, Sparklight is getting an update really soon, and so I'm excited about trying that out again because the last time I played it, I put in a few hours, but I kind of got lost, and I was like, I don't know what the point of this is, and there were some things that I thought was kind of interesting, like the fact that when it's like a Zelda kind of game. When you cut down grass, you don't get anything. You're just cutting down grass. But I kept cutting it every time because Zelda has trained me to cut the grass every time, and I got nothing. So you actually get sparks this next time when you cut down grass, and there's a casual mode as well that makes it even easier to play. So I'll probably boot up that and just kind of make my way through a little more stuff too because. Yeah, it's one of those games that I had no idea when I first started playing that it's a roguelite and that it's auto-generating and everything. And I was like, I died and I was like, wait, that was not there last time. I was so confused.
Oh no.
I was like, why does everything keep changing on me? Yeah, after I finally got the hang of it, it was fun. But I'm excited to check out the update when that drops. I can't remember the date, but I think it's fairly soon. So. Let's see. Let's go to the chat. So Jakester says he's hoping to finish Pokemon and Luigi's Mansion before Animal Crossing comes out, and just play the other games he has. He talked about earlier, Barry, that he's catching what you're saying about No Time. So yeah. It's spreading. It's spreading. You know what's happening, Jakester? You're getting older. That's what's happening.
Yeah, yes. That's everybody gets older, and the older you get, the less time you have.
Yep. Yeah, so he said Vesperia is going to be a challenge to finish before then if I have a goal like that. But yeah. It's going to be a lot to finish before March 20th there. But you got time. Use it while you can, while you're young, because it's not coming back. We'll end on a downer moment today. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat. Thanks for listening after the fact. Thanks again for subscribing and for sharing this podcast with other people that enjoy Nintendo. We love talking games with you, all of you. And again, if you've never joined us for a live recording of the podcast, be sure to do that because we love interacting with you guys in the chat room all throughout that. But if you miss it, that's fine because you can chat with us on our Discord server as well. Again, all those links are in the chat, or not the chat, the description down below, and our show notes on the podcast apps. Greg and Barry, it's been great. Barry specifically, it's been way too long.
Way too long.
But, yeah. So hopefully everything will go well, and we'll actually be on for our next podcast on March 3rd. It will be our next reading. I guess it'd kind of be a reading. Our next recording is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, so hopefully all goes well. March 3rd, we'll be back with another episode and recording that live. So please be sure to join us. And until then, enjoy your gaming, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
See you later.